So, if you're a golfer that's been struggling with distance, if you've been specifically losing distance in the most recent months or years, this video is for you. So, I'm going to talk through a lesson I gave just yesterday using Sportsbox 3D and kind of what we focused on to make sure that this golfer stopped losing distance or could even gain some distance back that he was previously losing in the past few months here. So, I'm not going to use his face. I'm going to use the avatars here from Sportsbox. So the player on the left, that is the first swing the player made. And then the player on the right, the green one, is more towards the middle of the session, even end of the session there. So I've got three numbers pulled up from Sportsbox on the bottom left here: chest turn, chest sway, and chest bend. So if we play the player on the left here, this was, again, the first swing the player made, one of the first 5 or 10 swings the player made. We load them up to the top. I want you to kind of observe a few things. Number one, look at the yellow line that dissects his shoulders. Obviously, that line has not quite completed a 90-degree turn. So if we look down at the chest turn number, it's 77 degrees of turn. If we look at the chest sway number, it's color-coded red because the player has swayed their chest 4.2 inches away from the target. That puts the player, and these two kind of go together, and 12 degrees of forward chest bend. So chest bend, I want you to think of this. If you're standing straight up and down, your spine is basically neutral, basically zero. If you bend forward, like you're going to hit a golf ball, that would be a positive number. And then if you bend backwards, like you're trying to let rain fall down on your stomach, that would be a negative number. That's called extending the spine. So the more we keep the chest in forward bend, or that 12-degree positive number, the more the chest is going to want to sway away from the target. And occasionally that can make it extremely difficult for players to turn. It can also limit how far and how long the hands can travel kind of in the backswing. So we looked at this and we started to do some exercise really targeting that chest bend number. So some thoracic extension or some spinal extension, if you will. Ways to feel like we're getting a little bit more rain on our stomach. Ways to feel like we could extend the spine a little bit more on the backswing. So I wanted to kind of play through how this swing now looked. Now the player on the left had a 7-iron clubhead speed of about 72 mile an hour. That was his average on about 8 or 10 shots. So what we focused on, again, we did some exercises here trying to feel like we could extend the spine. And this is a player that's over 70 years old, but trying to feel like we could extend the spine and feel like we get rain on our stomach a little bit more in the backswing. And I want to kind of work right to left here. So the chest bend number went from 12 degrees of forward bend to just 7 degrees of forward bend. Now, it might not seem like a big difference, but as a result, the chest sway number, it basically was cut, in half. It was 4.2 inches swayed off the target. Now it's only 1.9. The more that chest sway number gets negative, or that in that other example there where it's minus 4.2, the further that chest gets away from the target, the shallower the angle of approach will typically be into the ball. And this was a player who's hitting 1 degree down, sometimes dead level with his 7-iron. He was asking me why he couldn't compress the ball. When we get the chest sway number now from negative 4.2 to only negative 1.9, again, meaning the chest has swayed, 50% better than it did in the previous swing. Now we've got a chance to keep the chest, more on top of the golf ball, cover the golf ball a little bit more, and provide a little bit more downward angle of attack. But the biggest point to kind of make here is by focusing on that chest bend number, by trying to get the, rain on the stomach or the chest to extend, the spine to extend in the backswing, we were able to limit the chest sway. It's not perfect, but it was limited, right? Not looking for miracles here in a 45-minute lesson, but looking for improvement for sure. And then obviously the big one is if you look at that yellow line that dissects the shoulders there, it's turned a significant, amount more. And I would say he went from 77 degrees of chest turn all the way to 87 degrees of chest turn. And as a result, the 7-iron clubhead speed bumped all the way up from, it was at 72-ish. He had one that was 76.5, but his average was around 75.5, 76 mile an hour. So again, it's not like we waved a magic wand, but by focusing on extending the spine a little bit more and focusing on this chest bend number for the player, we were really able to kind of get this player to turn a lot better. So I wanted to overlay these real quick so you could just see them. So the player in that has the chest turned a little bit more, you can obviously see is a little bit more towards the target as well. And then the left arm was able to travel farther. So if you look at the distance the left arm was able to travel, you can see for the green avatar there, where the joints are. You can kind of see the green ball on the elbow and the wrist there. The club was able to travel a little farther. As a result, he was able to pick up a little additional speed. So if you're someone looking to add a little bit of speed to your game, or maybe you've been losing some distance recently, check out your chest bend, your chest sway, and your chest turn numbers on Sportsbox.